welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Goldie and this is the Lazy Ballerina Club. Guys, this video today is very exciting for a few different reasons. One, I am bringing you the video that you have all been asking for, and that is talking about college with your ballet career. Should you go first? Should you do it during? All of these questions regarding school and ballet we are answering today. And another reason why it is a special video today is we are having our first guest on the Lazy Ballerina Club channel. And not only is it the first guest, it is my best friend, my old roommate, Miss Hannah Keene. So I will introduce you to Hannah a little later in the video. We are going to hear her story and talk about college from her perspective as well. So if you are interested in talking all about college and professional ballet, what to do, what not to do, then make sure you are subscribed down below, like this video, and let's just get into it. The beautiful thing about going to school is that you really can do it at any time in your professional ballet career. I am actually doing two parts to this video because I just feel like there's so much to talk about this topic, and maybe I'll do a part 3 talking about my situation as well. But in today's video, Hannah is going to share her experience with doing school as she was in her professional ballet career. She has done it all online and she will tell you all about her experience, pros and cons, how she feels. She would do the exact same thing all over again if she had the option. And then later on in the week, for my part 2 of this little, I don't know what we should call it, like this college series, we are going to talk to my other sweet friend, Whitney Huell. She is going to share more about her experience going to college before actually starting her professional ballet career. So instead of trying to fit all of this information into one video, I'm giving you a part 2. Like I just said, I might even throw in a part 3 because there's just so much to cover when it comes to school and ballet. Of course, as soon as I sit down to start the Zoom, the sun goes away. But I am about to start this Zoom with my sweet little Hannah Keene and go from there. Okay. Hello! Welcome to the LBC channel. I'm so happy you're here. I mentioned that we have the most special guest of all time on this channel, and that is Miss Hannah Keene. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be on this channel.
Introduce yourself, let us know who you are, all that good stuff.
My name is Hannah. Goldie and I have been friends for many years. Basically grew up in Boston, the Boston area, and then danced with Boston Ballet 2 for their junior company for a couple years. Moved to Kansas City to dance with Kansas City Ballet. Goldie and I were roommates there, spent a few years there, and then moved to Goldie's hometown in LA to join LA Ballet. And Goldie then moved to Boston, where I'm from, and we did like a little swap. So really we can both see each other a lot. But yeah, I've been in like the professional world, I was realizing today, for like 9 years now, which is crazy, or like almost
crazy. That is so crazy. Yeah, we did a little like Freaky Friday moment. We switched lives, which I appreciate, so we can like actually see each other more often. First, I want to talk about what school did you go to and how did you do school alongside your career?
So I finished my last 2 years of high school online, and I feel like a lot of dancers end up having to do some sort of adjustment to their the last part of their, high school education. So my junior year, I was a trainee with Boston Ballet School. So that was like a step towards the company or company life. And so you were required to be in classes during the day. And you could be asked to rehearse with the company as well. And they rehearsed during the day. So I did that. I transitioned. And I think for a while I was just doing like public school. This was like, ballet was just like something I was doing in the afternoons, but then it became clear that, I wanted to do this professionally. And so that was something that we had to sit down and talk to my public high school about. And they luckily allowed me to continue with online classes and still graduate with my high school class. So then my senior year of high school, I got offered a contract with Boston Ballet's junior company, or BB2 as it's known, and finished high school online. And then I took about half a year, and at that point, Boston Ballet had developed a partnership with Northeastern University, which is in Boston. And so they were offering discounts to the Boston Ballet dancers to take classes through this program, College of Professional Studies, which was for non-traditional students. So there were flexible hours, online classes. They had some night classes, I think you could go to campus. But that wasn't offered for the discount, at least wasn't offered, that partnership for the Boston Ballet 2 dancers. So I took half a year, and then I was kind of like, I think it would be good if I could take some classes and just get some credits, because I think for me, school has always been kind of an outlet from dance. Like you talk about this a lot on your channel, that human first, dancer second. And I think that if your only thing is ballet all the time, that's what you go and think about. You can't necessarily, it's not as easy to shut it off as you think. And so having this other thing to do forces one to do that. You know, you have to focus on your school, you have to focus on something completely separate. Not to say that like you can't think about dance when you go home as well. Like if you have to go over things, totally fine. But it really like, and also the thing about school is that you put in effort, you get good results, versus ballet can sometimes be subjective. You know, you don't get a role not necessarily because you're not talented or you don't work hard, but because that's not what the choreographer wants, or that's not what the director sees. So school had that very like, it made sense that you put in effort, you get results. So I think that was always, you know, important to keep in my ballet career. And so I asked about Boston Ballet 2 dancers being able to be part of this program as well. And they offered us this like tiny discount, but whatever, it was fine. I got involved. I got into the program. But what was nice about the College of Professional Studies is that it was online. So it was flexible. I could take it wherever. And I could take semesters off if I felt like the workload in ballet was too much, or we were performing a lot, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I did that. And I think, I mean, you know, because we've known each other for so long, you know that I like have applied for other schools. I think I at times thought that I was just accumulating credits to then transfer into a school that I'd be doing full time after my dance career, but I'm still in my dance career. So I ended up finishing my whole degree through this program. And occasionally I would like go, if I wanted to take in-person classes, I would take, like for example, when we lived in Kansas City, I took at the University of Missouri in Kansas City. And I took one course there that I transferred in, or I took 2 classes at Santa Monica College and transferred those in. So I was able to find ways to like take in-person classes and then transfer them into my Northeastern credit. But yeah, that's basically it.
You brought this up that the school was kind of another way to shift your focus away from the stresses of ballet and the company life. And I mentioned this in my last video, but having anything outside of that company life and that stress of not getting the part, or you're criticizing yourself against the other girl in class, or whatever the focus is that week, having that thing outside of the ballet to put any energy towards is so important. And it's so interesting. And this is why we are so different, but I appreciate you so much, because school was that for you. Whereas a person like me, that would just make me more anxious and more stressed. So I think it is such a beautiful thing that school was a little like escape from your ballet life and journey. You started your college classes as you were pursuing your career in ballet. Did you ever think for like a second or question, were you making the right decision to pursue a career in ballet instead of going to like a more traditional like in-person college, or was that never a thought?
Yeah, like it was a thought for many years, especially when things were difficult in dance, mentally, less so, like honestly less so physically. I've, knock on wood, haven't had like a huge injury. So it was like the mental drain of dance has caused me over the years, more stress, I'd say, than the physical aspects of it. And so there would be moments like that when I was like finding, more fulfillment with getting like a good grade in school than I was with, feeling crappy every day in the studio. And so there were moments when I was like, I'm really good at school. Like, I'm a perfectionist with most things. Like, maybe I should just do this. And I think it was also when a lot of my peers from high school, because I went to a normal public high school. So I wasn't like, I didn't keep super in touch with them, but I would see people in college. It was right around the time that I would have been in school. And that's when I was kind of like, do I want to just be a normal kid? Because you're not. If you're pursuing a professional career at the age of 17, you're so not normal at that point. You have so much more responsibilities, and you have to be, I mean, I don't know, you have to find that balance about, yes, living your life, but also being really focused on what you do when you show up to work and being present and in all of that. It's like a lot on someone at a young age.
Totally. I think as soon as you get into that professional environment, even if it's just a professional year-round program, you're immediately more mature than all of your peers that same age that you were in high school with, even just like a month before you left your home. I remember feeling when I left home at, I think I was 17 turning 18, I immediately didn't connect with my old friends because while they were going to sororities and fraternities and like living their life, I was trying to get the job. So that is such an important thing to touch on. Which brings me, what were the benefits of doing it the way that you did it? And were you happy that you did it that way?
To be fair, I feel like it was kind of thrust upon me. When you get a job, like, I dreamed of being invited to be in Boston Ballet too. And so when that happened and I was young, I wasn't going to say no to that. And I mean, really, when we made the decision to do the online high school, that's kind of when it was like, it was my choice at that point to like go on this professional track.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I knew that I was self-motivated enough to be diligent about my schoolwork and still continue to get like a good education. So I felt okay about it. And, this was at that time what I really, really wanted to do. So I'm so grateful because, as people know, with ballet careers, they happen at a young age because that's when your body is physically able to do, long hours. Like, people retire mid 40s. It's not
40s. I'm like, I feel it at 25. I'm like, my body compared to was like 18. Oh, it's
max mid 40s.
Max.
Max is mid 40s. So yeah, you just think about that and you're like, well, like, I need to pursue this now. I have the, the path into the professional track in the palm of my hand. Like, I might as well pursue that now. And then, I can always go to school. People go to school at many ages now.
Right. So I think that was such a great program for you with Boston Ballet, the Northeastern Partnership. And I think for dancers outside of the professional field that don't necessarily know what to do, there are so many amazing programs similar to the one that you were a part of. I know for AGMA companies, they actually give free college classes. You can get courses, which is amazing. And I think like the whole conversation with school and your ballet career, it kind of feels like you have to pick one or the other. And that's just like not the case. And I think you're the perfect example of you can get it done at the same time. And you definitely have to be driven and focused since it is more on your terms. And after a long rehearsal day, you have to sit down and do that homework. But I think it is so amazing that we have those programs and options. So I want to ask you, how many years did it take you to complete your whole college experience?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, like, I took breaks, if I felt like I was overwhelmed or, I wanted a summer to travel or something. Like, there's no rush. And, if you complete just a few credits at first and then you decide, I want to do college, that's helpful too. But it took me 6 years total. So, it took me a while, but I think also to your point, like people now with this pandemic and like performing arts being, really taking a hit, dancers are realizing more and more how important it is to have that other stuff. So there's no rush. Like if you feel like you need a break from it, at least in my program, that was an option. So
Yeah, it's so interesting because of the pandemic. Not only with school, it has given all of these dancers like space to like think about what's important, prioritize something that maybe they weren't prioritizing before. And I'm seeing like all of our peers like from Kansas City Ballet doing school. And how does it feel to have it already done while you are watching all of these dancers like kind of like scramble to get their shit together?
it does feel like a scramble from the outside looking in. I mean, I think that a degree is super important. There is a life like outside of dance, and you don't necessarily, for all those normal people jobs, you don't always need a degree, but it is, and it has become kind of one of those staples that that's like honestly the bare minimum, I would say, for a lot of jobs. And that's what I'm experiencing. I'm kind of like, okay, great. Now I have this degree, now what do I do with it? Do I pursue more education, and pursue a master's, or what do I do with this degree? So I think there's still a little like, it's not like you have a degree, you know what to do necessarily, but it's kind of that like
Safety.
bare thing, yeah, and the safety net. Like if you're scrambling after your professional ballet career and you're much older, it can be more difficult. Not to say that people don't do that, but you know, I think it gives you like a head start in terms of like knowing what you want to do after dance, which helps alleviate the like stress once you've retired or whatever.
Yeah, that is a whole other conversation that I would love to have. Like, what is life after dance? Like, that is a big question mark, like
Yeah.
for a lot of people. But yeah, it must feel really great. And you recently graduated. When exactly did you graduate?
So I graduated December 2020. So
Woohoo!
yeah, I made 2020 worth something. I accomplished something.
That is
Wasn't
so great. We talked about the positives and the benefits of being able to finish your schooling as you were a professional ballet dancer and still are a professional ballet dancer. But what would you say were the major like cons and negatives to the path that you decided to choose with your schooling?
So I think, well, I have an English degree, and I pursued that degree because I was like, oh, I like reading, I like writing. And there's nothing wrong with an English degree, but it is more generic. So I would say like that's been a little bit difficult. Not that I'm, necessarily I'm putting out feelers for other jobs. I'm not necessarily done dancing, but it is like once I had the degree, I was kind of like, okay, what can I do? And so looking at different jobs and careers, I'm kind of like, okay, well, this English degree is something, but I don't have a lot of like real work experience. So I think that was kind of one downside, is that I didn't have, because I was doing like two things at once, the school and the ballet, I didn't have a lot of time to like do internships and things like that come with going to a normal college, or whatever, and getting like that real work experience, which is what, if you're applying for real jobs, they like to see on your resume. So that's one downside of having to juggle both.
My next question was, how did you manage your time during the schooling? And if you don't know a professional ballet schedule, we are in class from 9 in the morning till 6 at night. And then we have performances and whatever, like we are busy. And when we're not busy, we're exhausted and going to Pilates and like maintenance and all of this stuff. How did you manage your time? How did you stay motivated? What kept you going? All of that.
Yeah,
You have
well,
to teach me because that is something that I like majorly lack.
yeah, I mean, backstory, I am a bit of a perfectionist. So like seeing straight A's like helps my OCD a little bit. Like I need that like whatever. But I'm also a planner. So I have, a planner that I allot different days to like different, assignments, or even different if I'm taking multiple courses at once, like different subjects. And that way I stay on track. And I mean, it does require some sacrifice, you know, like if you have a full day of rehearsal and then you know that you have to write that paper, you might not be able to go out with your friends for dinner after the full day of rehearsal on a Friday night. You know, you might have to just say, okay, I need to go write that paper and go home. And then, you know, there'll be another night that you can go out with people. And again, like it's nice to, as much fun as in the moment it sounds to go out to dinner with people, like especially from the ballet or whatever, I think it is like also good to remove yourself from those situations and have something else going on, even if it's not a social thing, because that is also important. But just, you know, take a break from the ballet world, and then, you know, maybe if you feel or if you have time later, you know.
Yeah, I think it's so valuable. We talked about it a little in the beginning. It's so valuable to have your own thing. And like you just said, there will be other dinners.
Yeah.
Like you'll go to drinks another time. And I honestly think that is so important for dancers. Just going into a company or you're just deep in your company life, it can become toxic and overwhelming when you go out to dinner with the same people talking about the same things. You're talking about casting, you're talking about what's going on in the studio. And I think it is so great that you had your schooling to focus on, so you could just take a little break from the crazy and have something of your own that you were working on towards during
Yeah.
your ballet career.
And not to say that like every, or at least I'm pretty sure this is universal of all school programs. It's not like every week is going to be filled with so much work. Like there will be lighter weeks, and you know, you have to balance the heavier works, and sometimes that falls on a performance week and you just have to be backstage reading. You know, you have to find a quiet place to work on your stuff, even if you're at the theater all day. Like you just have to find those times, like it's, you know, even, and then likewise in ballet, you're not always dancing. Like you might have a nutcracker run through at the studio and you're supposed to be there for 6 hours of the day, but you're not dancing that whole time.
Right.
You know, you can go into the corner and, you know, do a little bit of work and make sure that you're present and focused for the roles that you're responsible for. But you can find a way to juggle the downtime.
As dancers, we have that motivation and that discipline ingrained in us. So I'm sure that that helped you when you were doing your schooling as you were dancing. And I think again, you can take it at your own pace. If you just want to start with one course, you can, and then add another class to that the next semester. You are on your own track and time, and that is why I think your path is such a valuable path, because again, I think people get in the headspace of, okay, well, if I don't get that first contract that I was offered, I'll never be a dancer and then I won't be able to go to school. So you are living proof, Hannah Keene, that you can get it done and still have an amazing professional career. So
It's all about efficiency.
amen, for real. That is exactly what it is. And for my last question before I let you go, we had to go back in time. Would you do anything differently, or are you happy with the path that you chose?
Yeah, I mean, I think like none of this really turned out the way I had envisioned it in my head. But like that's life, you know? And I'm happy with everything that I've accomplished, both professionally in the ballet world and also academically now. Like, I think I probably wouldn't change a single thing. You know, I'm pretty
I
content.
love hearing that. I love hearing that. I want to say before I let you go, you inspire me and I look up to you. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Hannah Keene, because you were able to focus and have your goals even when the ballet world was, I mean, extremely toxic and overwhelming. And we were on the couch drinking our bottles of wine after rehearsal, but you were committed to your goals. And I truly, truly admire you. And I'm so thankful that you came on this channel.
Oh, I admire you. No,
Thanks.
I feel like, you know, also this is not related to school at all, but having like supportive people in the dance world, like I'm so thankful that for our friendship, because that is so rare in the dance world. Like sometimes you just have to find that outside, you know, it can get really competitive or toxic. And I feel like, yeah, I'm just so thankful for you. And I'm so proud of you for this channel, because I feel like this is such an important platform in, you know, talking about mental health and how we're all ultimately, like, it's not all about the dance. Like there's so much more to life. There's so much more to each individual as a person, each dancer as a person. So
I'm gonna plug everything that you are doing very quickly. Hannah Keene just got certified to be a Pilates teacher. She just created her own platform brand, Healthy by Hannah. So let us know where we can find you. Where do we follow you? Give us all the information.
So I am at hl.keene on Instagram. And then I also, like Goldie said, started my own like health wellness platform, which is Healthy by Hannah. And then I'm one of the co-directors of a ballet company, or ballet collective rather, in LA called LA Grooves. So you can follow that too. But yeah.
Yes. Thank you again for doing this. I love you. I appreciate you. And look at you. You are a college graduate star with a professional ballet career.
There's a lot of pressure that comes with all of those labels, all those titles. I'm
Killing
like,
it. You are killing it. So once again, go follow Hannah, take her Pilates class. Maybe we will do like an Instagram live, LBC Healthy by Hannah collaboration.
yes.
But yeah, I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you for chatting with me.
Thanks for having me.
Wow. First of all, I love her. I love you, Hannah, if you are watching this. It is so important to find those loyal and true friends in the ballet world. It is possible. I truly, truly, truly value our friendship, and I'm so glad that she came on this channel, because she is living proof you can do your professional ballet career as you get a college education. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other, and like she mentioned, it will take some time. You will have to focus and get your classes done, obviously. So I hope this video was helpful, and like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, stay tuned for Friday's video, because I am jumping on another Zoom call with my other friend Whitney, and she is going to talk about her experience going to college before her professional ballet company. I'm giving you all of the insight that I am capable of giving you, and that is why I created this channel, to help you guys out as much as possible. So if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed down below, like this video, and I will see you on Friday. Bye guys.